Hey everyone, it's Jessica here with another layout for the Shimmerz Paints design team. Today I am creating a nice layout of my baby girl whenever she turned 1, and we did a little photo shoot with her. And I just used my Cricut machine and cut out just a very generic number 1 and made it pretty big, but I didn't want it to take up the whole page, so I actually ended up cutting down the bottom of it just a little bit so it wasn't taking up the whole entire page. And then I'm using one of my favorite collections. So this is an oldie but a goodie. It's called Cozy Days by Simple Stories, and it's always been my go-to favorite fallish type collection. And I just love the colors in it and just how they're so bold and just have all the fall feels. So I'm just using little scraps that I have from this collection. I bought this collection multiple times, so I have quite a few pieces and just little bits that I have saved just because I love this collection so much. So I am just using the little bits and all of the beautiful pattern papers to layer up my number 1 and just run these little strips the whole way up. And it's just going to create a really nice kind of pieced together little number 1 to use as an accent on my background. And then I'm going to place some mixed media behind my number 1. You can see I used a white piece of paper there. It is drying. I did add some gesso to that, but I cut that part of the video out because I ended up actually swapping that out and using a colored background anyways. So I'll show you how I applied my gesso to that page here in a second. Let me just fast forward this for you. There you go. So I have this pink background. That's what the number 1 looks like. I've got some clear gesso that I'm going to use on here. I'm not going to use white because I don't want the white gesso to peek through on this one. I just simply want to add a little bit of color. Of course, I have some dog hair. You know, I swear, since I got a dog again, it seems like the more I clean, the more the dog hair floats around in the air. I thought like cleaning is supposed to, vacuum up all of the hair and dust all of the hair and get rid of the hair, but it seems like it just picks it up. So we have to deal with dog hair around here now, and that's a thing again. So it seems like I'm always picking dog hair off of my table and in my gesso and in my paints, and it's just ridiculous. And I didn't think this dog really shed a whole lot because I don't ever really see a whole lot of it, but it's here apparently. So I've got my paper gessoed. It's pretty dry at this point. You want to make sure that it does dry completely before you add any mixed media paints. I've got a couple new colors here. So of course I had to grab the I Love You Onyxly color. It's an Inklings because my baby girl's name is Onyx. So I'm going to grab that and use just a smidge of that on here. And then this one, I just wanted to show you how gorgeous that was up front and close and personal. It's called Burned Out. It's a Shimmerz. So I'm going to start with that, just adding that to my background. Again, you can see here, I'm just kind of splashing it on there. I'm not being super particular. And then I'm using these sprays in a Vibes product called Fire and Spice, and then a Coloringz in Peachy Keen to just kind of break up the colors. And then I just pick up my paper and manually move it around in my hands to get those colors to really flow. And as you saw, I do add some water from my spray bottle. It's just plain water, nothing fancy. But that's really what that gessoed background does, is it makes that paper able to make these colors move around, blend together, and it also helps your paper not just soak them up immediately. So you have a little bit more playtime with this whenever you use gesso versus when you don't. Your paper just kind of soaks it right up. And then here I'm going in with some white gesso, not the clear gesso that I used earlier. This is white gesso because it's just going to kind of lay on top of all of these colors and just kind of give it a little bit more of a marbly effect and add some white splatters into that pink background as well. Kind of pulls it all together, but yet breaks it all up at the same time, if that makes any sense at all. It does in my brain, but I do use my heat gun on this because I'm super impatient tonight and I want this to dry quickly. Usually I don't like to use my heat gun on these mixed media layouts because it will kind of warp your paper a little bit, but make sure if you do use the heat gun, you're going in the back side as well. And see my table there, I do dry up because when you add all of this water and paints and things, it does create some condensation underneath if you're using that glass mat like I am. So make sure whenever you're doing this, you pick up that paper and you dry up the glass mat underneath as well, because that'll help your paper dry a little bit faster as well. So I've got this pretty well dry. I've added some splatters in all of the colors. You can see there, look at all that shimmery goodness. That's what it looks like with those Shimmerz products. And that's kind of the difference between the colors. If you use a Coloringz or any of the other products that we have, sometimes the Inklings, they're not as sparkly. So if you want that really pretty shine, you're going to want to grab the Shimmerz products in the little pots. So I like to mix them together like this because then I get shimmer kind of everywhere and all over, and I don't have to pick and choose whether I want that shimmer. So I've got my photo here. I've just matted with some white cardstock first, and then one of the pattern papers that I had another scrap of, and then I'm just going to use some foam tape here to pop up this number and my photo, and then I'm going to embellish around it. So I have all of my mixed media done at this point. If your paper is too warped to your liking, if you have a laminating machine, you can run it through your laminator when it's almost dry to flatten this out completely before you place down any of your photos or embellishments, and then that'll flatten your paper right out as well, and it'll wick away any of the moisture that's left in that paper. Sometimes I do like to do that. This one wasn't warped too bad. It's actually going to flatten out whenever I put it into my album, so I'm not worried about it at all. I've got an acrylic piece here because I'm doing some acrylic stash busting today as well, playing along with a acrylic stash busting series with a few of my scrappy friends, and I will link that playlist for you down below in case you want to catch any of their videos as well. So acrylic stash busting, that's just a little series that I play along with a couple friends that we make it a point 2 times a month on the 18th and the 28th to use acrylics on our projects and get it out of our stash and documented into our albums and our little mini albums and whatever we're working on. But the point is to use up some of our stash because we have so much acrylic accumulating around here that we really want to use some of that up. So I'm using that cute little Hello Pumpkin on mine today by Colorcast Designs. And then I'm just using a bunch of different flower embellishments here to layer up. I do like to cut the larger ones in half so I can get more bang for my buck on those and use them on multiple sides of my photos and just tuck them in here and there. And then I'm just like popping little bits and pieces around here. So just trying different things, seeing what I like, seeing what I don't like, and just using some foam squares to pop up a couple of the smaller flowers that are going to be kind of on top of the other ones. And then I'm going to grab some little puffy ones. I have a couple little fabric flowers you see there that I've added. I do have a little puffy heart as well that's fabric. I kicked around adding it. I tried it in a couple places, but I didn't entirely like it on this layout, so I ended up not using that little guy and just layering up all of these florals that I have. Some of these are by Pretty Little Studio, those ones on the right, and then the ones on the left, the bigger ones, are from Cocoa Vanilla Studio. Cocoa Vanilla Studio makes literally the best flowers that I have ever seen. I just love them. I wish I would have ordered about 20 packs of every flower pack that they had from every collection because I use them on layouts all the time and just tuck them in here and there. They're just fabulous. I'm just using some Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to glue down all of these embellishments. It's going to dry clear and it has a really nice hold. So I use it on my acrylic pieces as well because it just has that nice strong hold. So I don't have to worry about that coming back up over time in my books. It seems to be holding up very, very well in my albums. I've got a little sticker that I've added to the top of my photo. That's just from the sticker sheet from the Cozy Days collection. And then I have these random heart puffy stickers that are just from Hobby Lobby, and I thought a couple of these little light pink ones would go perfect on here, so I'm just adding a couple of those. They don't stick very well to mixed media. In fact, a lot of these embellishments that I have don't stick well when I'm using mixed media, so I do tend to add a little bit of Nuvo glue behind them just to reinforce. But these ones from the sticker book, you can see I have the sticker book clear used up, you guys. I am basically just like stash diving at this point, finishing out this little sticker book. But I love Simple Stories sticker books, and this one did not disappoint. It was so good. I think I ordered that Cozy Days collection about 5 times because I just love it so much. But I will be super bummed out when I finish the sticker book because I just loved it so much and I use it all the time. I'm just finishing this off by adding some pink thread in here just for some little texture around my layout and to fill in a couple of these bare spots. So I'm just going to add this on the left, and then for balance, of course, I will add it on the right side as well. There's that heart auditioning again. my friend Nicole uses that word all the time whenever she's trying out an embellishment on a layout, and it just cracks me up. And I'm just going to tuck in a little bit more thread on this right side just for balance. And that's going to do it pretty much for this one. And I just love this. I love how this came together. I think it looks super sweet. I hope you guys enjoyed this process today. Feel free to scrap lift this as usual. You can always scrap lift any of my designs. I hope I've inspired you to create something using some mixed media, and if you do decide to place an order in the Shimmerz shop, be sure to use my name Jessica in the notes of your order for a free gift along with your order. So here's what the finished layout looks like. I absolutely love how this one came together. I hope you guys enjoyed this as well, and thank you for hanging out with me, and I hope you all have a great day. Bye-bye.